Good morning, YouTube. Hope you're all well. It's a lofty biker here. Christmas is gone, waiting for New Year. I hope you're all keeping safe, COVID-free and happy people. Anyway, just thought I'd have a little bit of a chat with you. We've been a ride up to Padstow this morning, me and Linny Pie. Just had a nice cup of coffee at Treviska Garden Centre. Very nice indeed. Anyway, just wanted to have a quick chat about 2022. Is 2022 going to be the year of the sports tourer? We all know the sales of sports bikes have gone to nothing, and over the last 10 years or so we've seen, ever since the Ewan and Charlie effect, we've seen the growth of the GS and the adventure bike. But could big tall adventure bikes finally have had their day? Interesting, isn't it? We've got the stalwarts. That's done really well, especially across Europe over the last 5 years. We got the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX. We got the BMW R1250 RS. A couple of what I'd call tall rounders, but not that tall. We've got the Yamaha Tracer GT, and we've got the two XRs from BMW. The F900 XR and the S1000 XR, which are fairly tall, but they can be lowered. But they're more of what we call sports tourer than an actual adventure style bike. Triumph are just about to bring to the market their new 660 version of the Triumph Sport, which will be a very good seller and a good starter bike for those people who want a sports tourer with a fairly good looking bike. But the main two protagonists for 2022, which have created a lot of interest, is the brand new Honda NT 1100, which comes in DCT form or manual gearbox. And the other one, brand new for 2022, is the Suzuki GSX 1000 GT. Now then, the first couple I've mentioned, the Kawasaki, the BMW, and the Tracer 9 or even the Tracer 7 GTs. They've been around for a while, and they both come with side cases, heated grips, all the nonsense. Pretty damn good, really good packages. The Kawasaki and the BMs have been massive sellers in Europe, all over Europe. It appears that we're always a few years behind what the European market's doing. Scooters are only just started to take off here. Sports tourers are just taking off here. They've been massive over there, like I say, up to 5 years. But these two new ones, the Suzuki, which doesn't come with panniers, but it comes with the fitment for panniers. It doesn't come with heated grips or a centre stand, but it's also by far the pokiest, the fastest of the bikes I've mentioned. And then we've got the Honda, which is coming to the market. It's basically an Africa Twin. It's the Africa Twin engine and the main part of the frame. They've altered the headstock, they've lowered the suspension, lowered the subframe and lowered the forks, 17-inch rims, and they're bringing it to the market as a dedicated sports tourer. Okay, it's only 103 brake horsepower, but it's got masses and masses of torque. The BHP doesn't really tell you all the full story. The one thing that's guaranteed is that the Suzuki is about 160 brake and it's an absolute flying machine, whereas the Honda is 100 odd brake and it's a lot more sedate and relaxed. And in between, you've got the Kawasaki and the BMW RS. They're about 130, 135 brake horsepower. Both very, very nice units. The Kawasaki needs a little bit more rev. The BM's got a bit more torque. But sports tourers, could this be what everybody wants? Have they all got fed up of 860 to 880 seat heights? Let's face it, the most popular selling bike in the world, the GS, they've had to make the GS and the GSA, the Adventure, in what they call lowered form. It's got a smaller frame, lowered, factory lowered. That is because there's as many people who are left lower than 6 foot as above 6 foot. So it doesn't really matter which you fall into, whether you're a tall person or a shorter person. If you see a bike or a style, you want to buy it, you want to be able to ride it, you want it to fit. So of course BMW, like I say, they've engineered these factory lowered bikes to get people into the GS syndrome. But you can't keep buying the same genre of bike, can you? Because at the end of the day, we're all like the aesthetics of it. We all like to see something slightly different. This could be the next fad. Let's face it, when I started riding, well, back riding after I'd had a break, I'll come back in about 2005, 2006. When I went down the club, there was rows and rows of VFRs. Everybody and his dog had a VFR. It was the go-to bike, VFR. And gradually, the car park started to change. The VFR started to go and other bikes started to come in. And that's pretty much what's happened over the last 15 years. We've seen the birth of the Naked. Okay, well, Nakeds are great as a Sunday tool, but they're not much good for all-round riding. I've always said, when you buy a bike, you should buy it for what you're going to use at least 50 weeks of the year. See, not everybody buys a big tourer, then rides around in all the back lanes and everything all year round, and goes touring to France or Germany 2 weeks of the year. So really, in effect, a full-blown tourer doesn't really fit the bill for day-to-day riding. And then on the other hand, we've got sports bikes which are great on the track, and they've got so much power now you can't really ride them on the road. So in between the two, you got the sports tourers. So here's me making a prediction. People are going to be going to the shops in 2022 and they're going to be buying sports tourers. How about that? I'm a little bit biased because I've already got one. I've got the RS 1200, as you probably know. I'm over the moon with my RS 1200. What a bike. Don't get me wrong, if mine was 5 years old and not 3 years old, I'd be considering a 1250. Although I'm very, very smitten with Honda's DCT. Now this brings me back to which is going to be the best seller. I mentioned panniers. Unfortunately, the Suzuki and the Kawasaki, the Super Duke GT, even the Ducati Supersport 950, you can't put top boxes on. Now I know not everybody likes a top box, but it's also very nice to have the, what if you like, the alternatives. So you can go out with panniers on one day or go out with a top box on another day, and if you go touring, you can have panniers and top box. The Tracer GT, you can fit a top box, but it's a bit of a nightmare from what I've heard. One of the lads from Ride magazine, he took it into the dealership to have the rack, which took about 4 months to come, and when it did come, they couldn't undo the old grab rail rack to put the new rack on, so that made it a little bit hard work, but you can do it. So top boxes, not everybody likes them, but at the end of the day, they're very, very useful. And sports tourers don't look too bad as long as the top box ain't too big, so there you go. The other thing is I wanted to just chat about is any plans for tours. When we came back from Spain, I started looking at ferry prices. I thought, we've got to go back. I just loved it so much over there. We've got to go back. So started looking at ferry prices, and geez, it's as if they'd get them a right cane in. I couldn't believe it. I'm just going to get past this Mini. There we go. I don't mind doing 30 in a 30, but I don't want to do 35 in a 60. Yeah, so I looked at the ferry prices. They were astronomical. Considerably more than what we paid last year. And of course, it's all gone a bit tits up, isn't it? It's not looking too clever. This Omicron's come over and up to Christmas. It's made travelling look a little bit dicey. So in October we're all thinking where we're going next year, what we're going to do. Then in December we're thinking, might be a tour to Scotland. I don't really fancy a tour to Scotland because it's too busy up there. There's not enough space, especially in the summer. So I just wondered what you was all planning, whether you was going to go abroad or stay in the UK. I must admit we're hoping that come Easter time they'll have reviewed everything and we'll be back on sort of more, if you like, easy street as far as travelling's concerned. Because me and Linda had a great time, an absolute great time in the Picos in Spain, and we want to go back. So I'm looking at the earliest opportunity when we can actually get a week or 10 days or even 2 weeks away. We're going to go back to Spain, because I'd like to do the southern, if you like, southern loop, which goes down from Bilbao down sort of in the foothills of the Pyrenees towards Barcelona. I think they called it the road to Jaca. I've read a lot about this road. What a wonderful road and all down there. And we've never actually been to Barcelona, so I think that'd be quite a good idea, to be fair. Anyway, I'm waffling on a bit. If you've enjoyed the video, or you've enjoyed the videos, as I said before, it's difficult to get bikes at the moment. I'm trying to do a bit of vlogging, talk to you, chat to you. So as soon as I get some reviews, bikes to review, I'll put some reviews back on. But at the moment, it's just good to talk, so I'm going to probably try and get one of these rides in once a week where I just have a chit chat to you all. But please feel free to comment, tell me where you're going or what you're doing or what country you're in and where the good rides are in your areas. Everybody likes to know. But I'm going to sign off now. So this is the Lofty Biker saying ta-ra for now. Ta-ra.